All right. Well, Shiran, thank you so much for being a guest on the Multiply Your Success podcast. And just to get things started, if you wouldn't mind giving us your name and your company and your title.
Super. So pleasure to be here, Tom. So my name is Shiran Weitzman. I'm from Israel. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Shield. Shield, the full name is Shield Financial Compliance, but we go with Shield, like Madonna. Um, yeah.
Great, great. Well, one of the reasons I was excited to have you on the show here is to talk about what you do and really help companies through. And it's this idea of communication and communication liabilities and things that exist. And really, I am not familiar with this. So part of this is just a discovery for myself to learn a little bit more about this. But I thought, well, if I don't know about much about this, there are probably a bunch of other folks out there who don't know either. So I'd love to talk about this idea of workplace misconduct, just to get started in the online and remote world we're living in, with so many more people working from home or working part-time from home. How does workplace misconduct happen? Talk through a little bit about this and what that even means and how you handle that.
So it is true. It's in the financial industry, this is something that was, it's well regulated and it's been here for several years. But for the general business, I think it was a huge leap since COVID started and everyone moved to a remote work. But I would not put it only on COVID. I would say that it's a trend. It's a trend that happens because of digitalization of everything that we do, because of this iPhone thingy, because of everything that happens around us, which is good. It's business enablement, right? The ability to use our mobile communication and the ability to use different enterprise communication. All your customers are probably using Slack or Teams, right? We are taking this conversation while you are in the US and I'm in Israel and doing it via Teams or via Zoom. And it's fantastic audio quality and fantastic video quality. And we are exchanging emails like we are speaking with each other every day. And that's the revolution of the digital communication. And I would say humans started to communicate everywhere, right? Before that, we needed to travel in order to communicate. We needed to send letters, right? Nowadays, we are communicating everywhere we want. We can post our feeling via Instagram, via Facebook. Soon, we will communicate face-to-face via the metaverse or whatever other thing it will happen. It will be. Things are happening, but in the basic of things, in the baseline, people always like like the social animal that we are. It doesn't matter if we are behind the computer or behind the screen. We need and like to communicate in order to do our job, in order to be productive, in order to feel alive, in order to exchange ideas. This is the only way that we know how to do things. In the past, we used to fly over. When I was in sales, we used to fly over in order to exchange information and to do a demo. Now we are doing it. We're doing exactly the same thing, just via remote tools, right? So this digital transformation and digital revolution that really accelerated over the last, I want to say 20 years, but really 10 years, is really changing the way that we are operating and working. If you really think about the changes that happened in the last 10 years, just think that what will happen in 20 years from now, or 10 years or 20 years from now, the amount of changes and the acceleration of it. So it happens, it's here, and we are communicating, and humans are humans. We want to speak, we want to do things, we want to exchange information. We also are doing bad things. So bad actors exist everywhere. It exists while we are in the office, and there is this pervert guy that can do things or can say bad words or can behave badly or can be super too much friendly, right? It can happen. It can happen the same way via remote. Recent study, and I can share with you the link. It was posted in the New York Times. There was a big article on it that during COVID, they did a study and found out that there is a 40-something% increase of sexual harassment during the remote work. And it all happened on digital communications. Now you are saying, hey, come on, people are stupid. But people are. People are people. They are not stupid. People are behaving like people, right? The same way that people can do horrible things when they are in an office place. It comes to their narcissism, to all sorts of other challenges that they have. But people are people, so the behavior is happening in a certain way, right? And our job at Shield, right? What you ask me, what is it that we are doing? So we are an expert in two things. One, in digital communication, in humans communication. We understand all sorts of human communication as long as it is digital. It has a digital form. It can be audio recording, it can be written communication, chat, it can be a mobile communication, it can be an email, or it can be something else, financial chat communication. Any way of digital representation of human communication, we are the expert worldwide. We know how to capture, we know how to manage, we know how to manipulate, we know how to structure, we know how to enrich, we know how to do things with it that eventually can bring value to the business. The second thing that we do is understanding the human behaviors, and specifically detecting the bad actors, right? This is why primarily financial services are mandated to do that, but that's what we are tasked with, right? Find the bad actors in the organization, primarily trying to manipulate the market and have an advantage so they can earn more money, but on the other side, dealing with conduct, trying to conceal information, trying to conduct fraud, trying to harass, trying to use bad languages, all sorts of bad behaviors we are tasked to find. Currently, we are looking at it as a risk, right? In the future, we also look at it, okay, there is a lot of other good things that happens in communication, not only the bad, right? Let's put it also in a frame. 99.9% of the people that we see in our platform are good, decent people. That's also important to say, right? The problem is always with the, people can be the biggest asset of a firm, can be also the biggest challenge, right? Because you only need one person to click an attachment and to open up for a cyber attack for the firm, right? So educating employees and also monitoring a certain behavior is the critical part of what we are doing. And we are doing it on any type of communication. It will be social media, any type of digital representation of human exchanging ideas. It can be one-to-one, it can be many-to-one, it can be many-to-many.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. And as I'm thinking about just the breadth, just the scope of digital communication that people in general are going through, there's so much. And so certainly standard things I would imagine are part of this: company email, maybe text messages. Yep. But what about messages that are happening on a company Zoom call that's happening between people that you might not be seeing? Or I'm just thinking off the top of my head right now, or a message from someone's Facebook page that's not a company page, but they're posting something that may be damaging to the brand. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that. What are some examples or some stories that you can share to help, give us some insight on that?
So so let's get the practicality. We are not replacing the NSA, right? If they are listening to this conversation or to your email, it's their problem. It's a US thingy, right? We are not replacing them. It's not that, right? We are a platform, or we are an enterprise platform that is set to help the firm monitor their employees' communication. Now, if the firm decides that, and the employee approves, right? You need to have a consent with the employee that a Facebook is a viable, they are allowing everyone to communicate via their Facebook account or to do something with their mobile account, right? Then it's a company approved channel, and then we need to monitor it, right? But
Mm,
it's not, if look, between you and me, if we are communicating now via Zoom, right, and it's a monitored channel by your company or my company, then it will be recorded. But if you and I want to conceal information and to talk about secret things, we can find 20 different channels that are not monitored in 5 minutes, right? I can send you 21 of them if you want. It's not a problem. That's not what we are trying to find. We are trying to monitor and protect the general employees, right? And to protect the firm from things that can happen, right? So if you as a firm provided Zoom as a viable channel for your employees to communicate internally and externally, and someone is doing something via this Zoom channel, you would be amazed what we heard of people doing via Zoom. All sorts of pictures and all sorts of things are being done there. People are, you heard the story of people forgetting that the video camera is on and doing all sorts of nasty and gross things. All sorts of things can happen, right? So, you know, we as an organization want to protect the wider, we want to protect the organization, and I also want to protect my employees, right? So I want to be able to know if something like that happens, if someone is sexually harassing some other employee via, or just harassing, just being a bully on other employees. I want to know that, right? I want to know if someone is taking information that he shouldn't take, right? He's trying to steal
mhm.
information. Just recently, yesterday, I think I saw that a big shot in Apple was sacked, and he was trading insider information, right? Yeah, he knew he was in the legal department in Apple. I think it was Apple, but never mind. There are tons of cases like this that he was exposed to a certain information and he took advantage of it, right? Either send it to a friend, either did something. Doesn't matter. Usage of insider information in order to gain profit. It happens even not in a trading company, in any public company. People that are exposed to information, right, can do all sorts of it, but they are breaking the law. And you as an organization provided them the tools that they are allowed to do that. So you have a sort of responsibility for that.
Hmm.
That's our
So,
job.
well, that is pretty alarming to hear that, to think about that potential liability or risk that's hanging out there. So certainly with your company provides services to help support that. But maybe as a starting point, if someone's going to listen into this, they're the leader of their business, of their organization, maybe they're the owner, they're the president, they're the CEO, and they're now saying, okay, well, this is great, Shiran, but how can I handle these challenges? What can I do to maybe an initial step or two to start thinking about or implementing that I could do pretty quickly to start getting a sense of this?
First of all, I would like them to know that there is a problem. There is a potential challenge here. First of all, they need to acknowledge that, right? I am a CEO of a startup. I'm providing solutions to customers. They are hosted in my in our cloud platform. I'm aware of the cyber risk, and because I'm aware, we are investing tons of work and money and solutions and protections on top of it in order to is it Fort Knox almost, right? And it costs a lot of money, but we do that because we understand the risk of it, right? We understand what can be the impact if something doesn't work, and we respect the data of our customers and how truthful or how they are trusting us, right? I would like the CEOs of the companies to know that they are providing, they have, hundreds of employees, right? That they are communicating, and something he doesn't see everything. They cannot see what everyone are telling everyone. And you know what? It's not necessarily that I care to be in all emails and all conversations, but do I want to know if someone is breaking the law? Yeah. Do I want to know if someone is doing something in the verge of being illegal or being conduct? I need to know, because it's a risk for me as a CEO, because someone will, eventually it will flow to us as a company, and I will need to explain or to pay the bill, the legal expenses or the settlement with the employee or with someone else. It happens, it's reality, it happens every day with every company, right? Now let's prove that someone said something to someone. If you don't have the tools, if you don't have the system, if you cannot prove it, that's, we are in the process, we are in the business of detecting things and evidencing, right? And everything is written these days or verbally said, right? Everything. Think about it. In the past, we were meeting in the corridor and we were writing on papers. Now everything is digital. So there is a digital footprint of everything. Do something with it. At least know that there is something here that can happen. Know your risk, even if you don't do anything. Just know that there is a black hole, right, of your employees. You're giving them an email, you're giving them Slack, you're giving them Zoom, you're giving them Teams, you're giving them a mobile device. People are talking, people are exchanging information, people are taking pictures, people are doing all sorts of things. Know that there is a funnel of communication that happens, that things can things are being said there. Now, I don't know, maybe it's like a sentence every year. Still, if this is the risky one, I want to be aware of it, or at least know that there is a challenge here, right? There is a risk. That's it. Now, I don't want to frighten everyone, because until now, everyone were super happy, providing, we are an agile company, we are providing people that communicate, is business enablement. It's all true. It is a business enablement tools, or we are talking about business enablement, but we are humans, right? So, humans are trying to go,
Right. And well, and like you said, there are bad actors, right? So whether it's digital communication, whether it's in person, there's the unfortunate, one bad apple spoils the bunch kind of a thing, where it's that one person that's not behaving, or not, they're misusing the tools that have been provided to them.
Yeah. And that's the business. Now, look, in our current business, we are mainly focusing on financial services. So we are, really, it's really like, it's doing exactly everything that I said, but instead of not only looking for conduct, but looking for risk and market risk. So ability for people to do market manipulation and front running, and all sorts of a market manipulation that will give them extra gain. So they will be rich, they will get more money, they will be able to have a better profit, they will be able to be to provide much better income to their company. So all sorts of things like that. But it's the same thing. It's bad actor at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it's interesting, and as I hear you talking about this, it makes me think maybe even a first step, and I'm curious your thought on this, would just be making sure that there's some kind of I don't know if it would be a policy or practice or something that gets included in, just something simple to send a notice out to your staff, or an update to maybe an employee handbook. Just to say, we expect certain conduct, a certain level of professionalism or something. I don't know. What would you say to something like that?
So first of all, there is, every company, I hope, have a conduct policy, right? And perhaps the conduct policy need to be refreshed. But I think that, during these days, I absolutely agree. You need to do some sort of a training, what is expected, or policy, write a policy and do a training once a year, twice a year. Guys, what's expected of you while you are in the digital era, right? When you are communicating via all sorts of channels internally and with customers. I would say most of the people, like again, 90-something% of the people understand how to behave. But sometimes it's better to say it than to be sorry afterwards, right? So yes, be aware that there is a challenge. Just, even if you don't implement anything. And by the way, I'm not saying that general customers need to do something at the moment. but at least know that there is, there is a big island or big oceans of data that is running through your company that you don't know anything about. So just be aware of it, and train your people, put some standards, put some policy in place. You are absolutely right, Tom.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you. That's very helpful. And Shiran, this is a great time for us to make a transition here at the show. And we ask every guest the same 4 questions before they go. And the first question is, have you had a miss or two in your career or life, and something you learned from it?
So it's a kind of so the answer is yes, right? I hope, well, kind of a miss, but I wanted to have my own startup when I was younger, right? Like 10 years before I opened this one. So is this a miss? I don't know, because eventually, I found my place. I found this golden idea. During these 10 years, I created I built my knowledge and subject matter expertise in this domain. But really, I had this entrepreneurial mindset and, do it my own things years before. And yeah, it would have been, great to be in my second company now. But
Right. Yeah. No, thank you for sharing. And well, let's talk about a make or two, flip that around to talk about a success story maybe that you've had along the way.
so look, the story of Shield is unique here, right? So you know, we are not doing this post-mortem because it's still live and kicking and they still have a lot of success ahead of us. But we started completely bootstrap, right? Like it was 5 years ago. For the first 3+ years of our existence, we were running completely bootstrap. In the beginning, some days you didn't know if you were able to survive or not, right? Sometimes, we had only a month or two of salaries to be able to pay, and you need a lot of hard work and conviction of what you do, and as to be super optimistic in order to continue this process. But every time that I was every time that you have a little bit of a downside, you are gathering with your employees and with some of your partners, you're going and speaking with customers, then you understand that you're spot on. You understand this is where you get your energy from. And look, looking back 4 years or 5 years, 5 years back, you know we managed to create a thriving company, really innovative, really smart people. I'm not I'm far from it, but really smart people work for us, work with us in there. We really managed to flip. We haven't completely done it yet, but we are starting to see the industry starting to shape according to our message and what we are, our promise to the market. And um, and I keep on, I want to keep reminding, and I keep reminding to my guys all the time that eventually we are doing good. We are in, if you have companies that are trying to just get money and do shit, or companies that are trying to do good and good for humankind, we are in that part, right? We are trying to do good for a more transparent market, to protect the money of you and me, right? To protect the pension money, to have people, to have a much more stabilized market, that people won't be able to take advantage, to be able to detect the bad actor, to be able to take the one that's trying to harass our kids and daughters in the digital sphere. So, and I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of what we are doing, and the decision to do good, because You can do money, or you can be successful as a company in all different industries, but the decision to do good and to stick to it, even when, in the beginning you get a lot of no from investors, from customers, and you're too small for us to do business with, or you're not part of the Gartner magic queue, or all sort of things. And to have your North Star, and to be truthful with ourselves and with what we want to do, and eventually to see it successful, to see it in the making. I think it's impressive. For us, it's my biggest pride, beside my kids and my family and all of that. But professionally, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Oh, yeah. I thank you for that explanation. It's great. And let's talk about a multiplier. Have you used a multiplier to grow, whether it may be business or professionally, or maybe personally, as you've grown over the years?
Well, eventually, you can have all sorts of multipliers, right? It can be via, business wise, it can be via M&A, all kind of acquisitions and all kind of that. For us, multipliers are people, our people, our employees, our partners, our investors, the ecosystem that we invest in. The pay it forward thingy, it actually works, right? When we are doing good, and when we are doing things truthfully, and with customers as well. When customers are telling us, you're too small, when I look, guys, this is our truth. And after 2 years, they're coming back and saying, well, we made a mistake choosing this one, we want to speak with you again. It's, everything is there, right? So it's eventually in the people that we work with, people that we have as employees, people in our ecosystem, our competitors. Some of them are people as well. We love them, we like them, we want to win against them, we usually try to win against them. But we are managing relationship, and with partners, with investors, with the entire ecosystem. It's super important for us, and I think this is eventually creating brand, it's creating trust between people, and it's super important. And that's, if I have to say, what is the multiplier for me, it's all about people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the final question that we ask every guest is, what does success mean to you?
It's a tough question, right? But I'll say what I say to eventually everyone that I work with. At the end of the day, I'm a business, and I want to, one, have my customers super happy, right? And proud of having Shield as a vendor, and proud to partner with us and help us develop our solution, and to buy more from us. So I want that. I want my investors to be happy now and in the future, by making tons of money and to have a huge return of what they do. I want my employees to be proud of where they work and how they work and whom they work with, and be very successful financially as well, right? So and of course, we want to be successful. I want to see it. I want to see it growing. I want to see it becoming what I envision this company can be, which is, a global leader in this domain, and really go find ourselves into new industries and shaping this. I would say the governance and risk management and insight of different industries. Yes, but also eventually we would like to be financially successful. We want to we want to be able to grow the company in a way that it will be financially feasible for all of us, and for and our employees and our investors. And yeah, on the other hand, I also want to see, and again, I believe in good. So I want to see some of my employees are opening their own companies and their own startups. I would like to see myself being able to contribute to that now or in the future, right? Again, if you're in the business of doing good, eventually, things pays up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Shiran, before we go here, is there anything you were maybe hoping to share or get across that you haven't had a chance to say yet? And also, I'd love for you to share how people can get a hold of you or get in touch with you if they're interested in learning more about what you do.
So go to the other side. First of all, we have my, we have my LinkedIn page, and we have the company page. Everyone can get me through each one of them. It's very easy. Look, I think that your audience doesn't need to be, my job is to always present the bad things, right, that can happen, but they shouldn't be worried. Eventually, it's a matter of culture, right? So if the culture is there, we are just a tool to help you sanitize this, to monitor it, and to see that everything is still working well. But if a company is a truthful, right, and there is and they're really in the business of doing business, but there is some bad apples from there, here and then, it will flow up, right? And yeah, follow us up. We are there is a lot of good things that we are looking for. We are growing in North America. We are looking for good people to join us. Sales, pre-sales, all sorts of operational, cloud dev, DevOps, cloud ops, all sorts of people to help us serve our customers. And yeah, we are here.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being a guest. I'm so grateful for your time.
Thank you very much, Tom. It was a pleasure.